Over 64% of India's population lives in rural areas, but majority of them still do not have access to clean drinking water. The problem is aggravated by sinking water tables and the unusual and unpredictable monsoon which leaves large parts of the country parched every year. In 2019, the government committed to connecting these 19 crore rural households with clean drinking tap water. The nationwide scheme Har Ghar Jal, launched under the Jal Jeevan mission, promised a regular supply of 55 liters of water per person per day by the end of 2024, which is also the year Prime Minister Narendra Modi fights for his third term.
The focus on the states where lots of work remained to be done and which was still at very low levels of coverage. While on the one hand all these states have by now moved forward and more or less completed the work of planning, of preparing DPRs, of moving for tendering, awarding the works, there's also progress on the already awarded projects, and we are seeing more and more tap connections happening.
4 years since the mission was launched, the scheme has covered 59% of rural households with a deadline of 2024. The biggest challenge lies in Uttar Pradesh, where the coverage of the scheme remains among the lowest at 35%. This means that out of the total 2.6 crore households in Uttar Pradesh, only 92 lakhs have got tap water under the scheme so far. News18 travelled to Uttar Pradesh to assess the situation on ground in two of its districts, Bulandshahr and Aligarh. For Sikri village in Bulandshahr district of Western UP, the wait for clean drinking water will hopefully end this summer. The government officials have promised that the tap water connections would be provided to all the 484 households of this village by June this year. The government has allocated rupees 190 lakhs for the entire project in this particular village, out of which 139 lakhs has already been spent. A large overhead tank of 150 kl and solar panels installed on the site welcomes anyone who visits Sikri village in Bulandshahr district. Starting this July, the tank will supply water to all the 484 households of the village. Residents hope that this will help them from the rising power bills that they incur for running the submersible water pumps, which are getting impacted due to the sinking water tables in the region.
अब नल भी कॉस्टली लगते हैं, तो इससे सरकार की योजना से कुछ फ़ायदा मिलेगा, गरीबों को सबके लिए मिलेगा।
पहले कैसे आप बोल रहे थे कि पहले हर घर में अपना-अपना
हाँ, नल थे, अब वाटर लेवल ज़्यादा डाउन होगा तो नल काम करने बंद हो गए हैं ज़्यादातर, अधिकतर पैसा भी ज़्यादा लगता है अब। पहले लग जाते थे 50-60 फीट के वाटर लेवल पर, अब 100 से नीचे किसी का नहीं लग रहा, अब कॉस्टली पड़ता जा रहा है।
The government is also making concerted efforts to ensure that more and more villagers are integrated to the scheme. Women from this village are also being trained to test the quality of this water.
इसको घुलने के बाद फिर हमें रिएजेंट भी यूज करना है, उसकी 4 बूंदे डालनी है।
के साथ साथ यहाँ पे ग्राम समूह महिलाएं हैं जो फील्ड टेस्टिंग किट करती हैं, और साथ साथ एक ग्राम समिति हमने बनाई है यहाँ पे, जो हमारा जल जीवन काम चल रहा है उसको लोग प्रॉपर चेक करते रहते हैं, समय समय पे आके बताते रहते हैं कुछ अगर कमी होती है। और यहाँ पे एक मैम टेस्टिंग की हमारी लैब की महिलाएं हैं, वो अलग से करती हैं, और बाकी मैम जेम्स यहाँ पे काम कर रही है।
हमारा 7 आया है, 7 से हमने मैच किया है।
The government's plan is to hand over the monitoring and operation of the scheme to the community once the scheme is ready. Women are also being trained to test the quality of water. However, when News18 spoke to the residents, many of them are still unaware of the monthly user charge of anywhere between 50 to 70 that they will have to pay once the tap water begins to flow. An hour-long drive from Bulandshahr, as we cross to the neighbouring district of Aligarh, the story changes dramatically. Out of the 4.3 lakh rural households, only 80,000 in Aligarh have received tap water connections since the mission was launched 4 years ago. The coverage of the scheme currently stands at a mere 18.4% in Aligarh.
UP has its own set of difficulties. There was the whole Bundelkhand region, which actually had water scarcity, and they needed to bring in water from outside through surface water-based schemes. They also have parts of the Gangetic belt which have contamination in the groundwater. So there's a causation simply because of the floodplain nature and the contaminants, chemical contaminants coming in. These are not because of human activity; these are geogenic. But there is an issue of arsenic, etc., in parts of these.
तो वो भी वहाँ लगा दिया पल्लम, वो ही उखाड़ के वहाँ लगा दिया।
आपका नाम क्या है और गांव का नाम क्या है?
प्याज, गांव का नाम दौरला।
अच्छा, पानी का काम, पानी कैसे लेते हैं आप, पीने का पानी?
समर से।
अच्छा, सबमर्सिबल अपने पैसों से जो लगती है। सरकार का दिया हुआ नल का पानी यहाँ पर आया है गांव में?
नहीं।
अभी काम शुरू हुआ है?
नहीं।
This is bad news for the state, which faced almost a drought-like scenario last year due to a subpar monsoon. The monsoon rains in July were the lowest in almost 122 years for Uttar Pradesh.
पानी की तो जरूरत है ही है
जी
पानी बगैर तो कुछ नहीं है
जी।
पानी होगा जब तो आदमी सब कुछ करेगा जब पानी नहीं है तो जिएगा काहे।
The village of Kheria Khwaja Buddha in Aligarh has depended on the 5 hand pumps installed by the local government years ago. However, as the water table goes deeper with every passing year, residents complain that the pumps often run dry. The Tanki Wala Pani, as the residents refer to the scheme, will ease them of this water shortage. But the question is when? ये गांव में ना जैसे गर्मी आ रही है, पानी की दिक्कत है, उसके बारे में थोड़ा बात करने के लिए आए हैं। तो ये जो अभी पाइपलाइन वाला पानी है, टंकी वाला पानी, वो अभी आया है?
अभी नहीं आया, अभी तो टाइम लगेगा उसमें।
अच्छा, कुछ
4-5 साल करीब लग जाएंगे।
अच्छा, 4-5 साल
लग जाएंगे।
Similar concerns are voiced by residents of nearby village Dolra Nirpal, which has been waiting for clean water for many years. Most households depend on the submersible water pumps, a costly affair for residents like Sham Mohammed, who are daily wagers.
हम समर का पानी पीते हैं, 1200-1300 रुपये महीने का हमारा बिल आता है बिजली का, और कोई व्यवस्था नहीं है। हम भाई के घर से पानी पीते हैं, हमारे पास तो वो भी नहीं है। अभी पानी टंकी सोल्यूशन हुई है, वो चालू भी नहीं हो पाई है।
The weather department has warned of a scorching summer ahead, with series of heat waves expected to lash the northwestern parts of the country. The government has set a deadline of December 2024 to connect every rural household of the country with clean drinking tap water. Will the government be able to meet this deadline? We'll have to wait and watch. Till then, residents of all these villages are waiting anxiously and hopefully that the government would listen to their complaints.